It is time for Game 2, Montasaurus versus Anuzarg Series 2. Anuzarg is currently down a game. Montasaurus having won their little cheesy battle earlier on Overgrowth. Let's see what happens on Frost. In the top right of the map, we have our yellow Terran player. It is none other than Montasaurus. In the top left of the map, we have his opponent, the purple Protoss player, Day 9 Ladder Clan's Anuzarg. So Anuzarg is saying, do you know what day it is? So Anuzarg is known for doing this in a lot of his show matches. He really likes to play Fun Day Monday topics. Montasaurus asks, responds the 17th of May. He is correct in a very literal sense. Pylon on the low ground though, so whatever Anuzarg has in mind, we have not seen it just yet. It's between Monday and Tuesday. Oh, it's the midnight hour. Anybody who's played Persona 3 will recall. Between Monday and Tuesday, what does he mean by that? I have no idea. Probe going to the low ground here. Putting down Tuesday. There's a gateway, so not a forge. So no, he's not cannon rushing. Montasaurus is walling off as quickly as possible. I can really blame him. It makes sense to do that against Protoss in general. Okay, let's see if we can fix this little weird menu music thing. Get rid of continuous music. Do we have game music this time? I think we do. Pretty sure. We're hearing sounds in the background. Anyway. I think Anuzarg is playing completely normally. I think he's trying to mind game his opponent right now. And this SCV is going to get here and be like, oh, you're building a wall. What are you doing? I was going to come up in the main base and see that absolutely nothing is here. There we go. Now we got normal music. Fantastic. Fast expand day? Maybe. Oh, the probe was almost ready to do it. Anuzarg seems to be getting a little gun shy, though. No, his probe is just rallied up there. SCV is running up here. I'll do a quick circle around the base. Anuzarg is not expanding, I guess. I mean, he's just building more probes. He's got more than enough money for the expand. He's throwing down a gas. He's really building up his resources right now. I think he's trying to just hold on to this until Montasaurus leaves. Nope, here comes the probe. He's running down into the natural now. Ah, no attempted block from Montasaurus. That would have been very entertaining, but oh well. What can I get? What can I get? What can I say? Yeah, really, what is the Fun Day Monday challenge? I actually don't know off the top of my head, guys. It's pretty bad on my part. I probably should be aware of that before I'm casting anything on a weekend. Factory in position. Marines moving to the back of the base. Starport with a tech lab producing on the factory. So it looks like we're going to be seeing maybe Banshees, maybe fast siege tanks. Maybe one or the other. Are we still in menu music mode? I think we are. Sometimes you can actually get it to reset whatever it's playing if you disable it for a little bit and then hit the M key. But no, it looks like it's going to insist on playing menu music. I can't wait until this particular bug in Game Art gets fixed. So while we listen to some good ambiance here, let's try and get a handle on what Anuzarg has going for him back here. That was strange. I just looked back over there and my second monitor just flickered. Well, anyway, Anuzarg is rushing up into a Robo facility, so it looks like a Colossus tech is in his future. I'm just disable the music for now. I'll leave it off. The menu music drives me crazy. And it is, in fact, a Banshee. This should do a huge amount of damage. Montasaurus' positioning, Anuzarg's positioning against this is really bad. He only is going to have 1, maybe 2 anti-air units, no Mothership Core. There's a Widow Mine coming out after that as well, so there's going to be a very strong push to follow this up. He's also getting Cloak. Once Cloak is in position, there's going to be very little that stops this from working. He does have a robotics facility, though, so he can get an Observer fairly quickly. It's just that against a single Stalker, the Banshee will actually do really, really well, and here it comes, moving across the middle of the map here. Second Stalker is on the way. A little bit of a freeze going on there. Hope we don't have a crash in the game or anything. Uh-oh. Is he going to build... He's not going in with the first Banshee. This is actually the best opportunity for him to do damage. Warp Prism coming out for Anuzarg here. Lots of gateways coming out. Oh, this might actually work out really well for Montasaurus. If he leaves... If Anuzarg leaves this base with his only anti-air units, this Banshee could do a lot of damage. And the Banshee is actually going back home? What? Meeting up with its buddy. And now we're going out for the attack. Okay, so 2 Banshees at once does make some sense in that both of them firing once will kill a single probe. So they can actually work through the mineral line incredibly quickly. But just gathering them together. Stalker's on the low ground here, so he does have a brief window of time where he can get some damage done. Let's see how fast Anuzarg's reaction is. 1 probe, 2, 3, loses about 4, maybe 5. Warp Prism is coming over to take a look at what's going on. Up come the Stalker's Cloak is now activated. Unfortunately, no Observer in sight. A second Warp Prism coming out cancels that. Starting to build the Observer here. And the Protoss is just falling down in that worker count. Montasaurus is actually at the same amount right now, though he hasn't transferred his workers down to his natural just yet. Both players basically mining an equivalent amounts at the moment. However, the gas count has been more or less reduced to kind of half production for 0 off of 1 base. No, he's only got 1 worker mining gas. Okay. And now the Stalkers are able to do something about the Banshees. The Banshees have more than paid for themselves at this point, though. It's a huge amount of damage against the Protoss forces, and he doesn't get the Banshees. So the threat of them is still there. The Banshees can, since they can come back in at any time, Anuzarg's in a position where it's going to be very difficult for him to leave. Losing 23 workers as well. If there is a follow-up push to this, nope, it looks like Montasaurus is just buying time. If he does go for a follow-up push, it'll be very strong. The Banshees are now moving back into the base. The army is out of position, trying to take out a pylon here. But loses 1 of the Banshees. Second Banshee coming up, and where's the Observer? Observer's... Where did the Observer go, actually? The Observer's flying over here somewhere. I just can't see it too great. Right? Just boxing the screen because I'm trying to find this thing. Yuki! Observer! It's over here. Wait, how is he able to... Okay, the one must have run out of Cloak, because that's definitely out of range. So 3 Banshees from Montasaurus. Still hanging out at the top of the map here. Nope, still menu music. What can I say? Three Banshees moving to the bottom of the map. Looks like he's positioning to go after the natural here. Stalkers pushing out to try and snipe out the Banshees. This is actually the worst time to try something like this if Montasaurus actually goes in. Nope, he's checking up here to see if there's anything there. Probably warp in some units, maybe load them up into the Warp Prism. Nope, he's going for a 3rd base. This is actually quite a risky maneuver on Anuzarg's part. If he gets enough time, though, he'll be able to more than rebuild his worker count and try for something here. Both players have a pretty insane bank at this point, but okay, yeah, your entire army is now out of position. Here come the Banshees, and they're just going to kill so many more probes. Unfortunately, not having 4 in there means that basically this is 2 Banshees firing, not 3. There we go. Kills a decent number of workers again. Workers killed up to 33. Protoss has been reduced to effectively 1 base again. And yeah, any follow-up push that Montasaurus is working on in the background will be very, very strong. Worker count now down to 18. 17 for our Protoss player. 16, falling yet farther and farther. Can't even efficiently mine He's not even efficiently saturating from a single base anymore. About the only thing that isn't affected by this kind of worker drop, guys, is the gas count. So gas-heavy units are a decent choice from our Protoss player at this point. But it doesn't really have much to work with in that respect. Only sentries and stalkers right now with the current tech that he has available. Other units do require a decent amount of minerals. Banshee's now up on the high ground. The observer is where? Find this guy. Observer's hanging out over there, so he's a little bit out of position. It doesn't really matter at this point if the Banshees die. The Banshees have done way more than reasonable damage. So 43 workers killed total by our Terran player, and he's still building up an army. Whoa, still building up an army on the back of that. Sorry about that, guys. Losing my focus a little bit here. Here comes the push. Lots of Marauders and Marines along with the siege tank. Huge number of Stalkers. But I think against this army, Montasaurus should be okay. It's not really the army that you'd like to have right now, though. He has mined a lot of resources, just hasn't spent it too great. So this is actually not completely decided just yet. It does have stim with this army, though, and combat shields. This is a very strong army, and they're about to meet each other on move command. Nope. Both players on attack command. Siege tank going down. Marines and Marauders splitting up at the front, trying to move forward to... maybe he was trying to snipe off the siege tank there. Siege tank does not go down, though. It's making sure to kill off the zealots before going after the stalkers, doing maximum damage to the army. But two siege tanks now in position, big warping going on down here, and Anuzarg is kind of gas broke, so probably going to see a big warping of stalkers on the back. Maybe not stalkers. Wow, he warped them in right on top of the army. That actually really basically gave him the engagement. Nice move from Anuzarg right there. However, he is pushing. He can't really push too much farther out there. And the next, the really concerning part of this is the secondary push. Montasaurus can build another army incredibly quickly over his opponent just because of the fact that he has more workers, presuming, of course, he has built the additional production. He's got some of it in place. Starting to build a few more buildings to make sure he gets more units out quickly. Montasaurus causing a little bit of latency. Did say something there and didn't quite catch that. Shoot, said Anuzarg. And it looks like we're going to be sitting around for just a little bit longer here while our players mass up some more army units. One thing I will give Anuzarg is he does have this third base and he is producing workers 3 at a time right now. I can't handle that for so long. It's just such inappropriate music for a game. But yeah, if anybody wants some music in the background, since it does seem to be broken, that is a great link that my mod has thrown down there. That is the metallized version of Terran 1 from Brood War, I believe. Very, very good song. Montasaurus building up his army now, 62 army supply over the 19 of his opponent. And it looks like he's just going to take the opportunity to expand, maybe do a push outside of it. He's thinking about it, he's moving his units back and forth, and... it's time for a drop. Now, Anuzarg is incredibly out of position with his army units. He has not brought them back. He is building a lot of buildings here at his third, and as soon as this drop occurs, looks like he's going to go for the third base. He hasn't noticed that there's a third base yet. Nope, he used to drop those units. Montasaurus and Anuzarg have both not really noticed them. There we go. And the drop begins in the third of the Protoss base. He's going to kill yet more workers down here. A bunch of gateways just finishing up on the back of this, but he won't really be able to do more than a single warp in with those. Kills all of the worker units down here. And now we can just pick up and go into the main base. These stalkers are completely out of position for this. There's the boost on the medevac. It's going up into the main base now. Still more or less continuing production on the back of this is Montasaurus. Gotta be careful, might lose those warp prisms. And he's going to take out the forge, so there can't be any additional upgrades coming out here. Yeah, Montasaurus is doing a decent job actually building on the getting more units out, so he's actually spending that money. And everything picks up into the warp prism, leaves one Marine behind, which actually does take a bunch of shots for the medevac, and it gets away safely. Going down onto the high ground behind the third base, he's able to pick away some more, kill a couple more probes. Fighting off against the Zealots a little bit, picks up one more time, and it looks like he's finally going for the retreat back to the main portion of the army, which is now moving forward for the engagement, it seems. Oh, great move here with the drop to push that back up into the main base. These stalkers are still hanging out at the third here. And now there's yet more damage coming up here. 4 Stalkers warped in to try and help out with that, only able to do so much. 2 Siege Tanks now on the high ground, and I think Montasaurus is putting his opponent into a death grip right now, as I'm not really sure if there's much Anuzarg can work with here. He's going to lose this base. I gotta say, valiant effort on his part to actually go with a Protoss game. I haven't really seen a lot of Protoss games from Anuzarg here. Good, decent job, all things considered. Really love the move with the Warp Prism in particular. But unfortunately, I don't think he really has the ability to deal with this. He's dealt with the drop, kind of. Looks like he wants to do that drop onto the Siege Tanks thing again, but there's really only 2 of them, and there's so many Marauders at this point. If he just warps in Stalkers, it will not be enough. He's losing his gateways, can't really produce more units, and he can't even engage the bio anymore. The Siege Tanks are just going to be the nail in the coffin on top of that. Lost... Does he have any production structures left? He has 6 gateways, okay. He's about to lose the cybernetic score, so only Zealots from here. And yeah, there goes the rest of the workers in the natural. The natural itself is about to fall. And this is the last stand of the Zealots here. Big drop of Marauders in the main base is going to kill off the rest of the workers while the front is taken care of by this army. And I think we're engaging with the probes against Marauders. Marauders tend to do pretty good in that situation. 3 Stalkers engaging as well, but there are now literally 2 probes for our Protoss player. He's using the remainder of his money. He has 1,670 gas, and nothing he can do with it. That's GG. Hopefully, GG well played from this opponent. There we go.